fractional county manager for Jefferson County, and he acts as the county's CEO. Before he was appointed to this role, Tony was mayor of Hoover from 2004 to 2011. He also served in the Alabama House of Representatives for over 10 years in the 80s and 90s, and he's actively involved in the community and served on many boards and committees throughout his career. So thank you for being with us today. We're also joined on this panel by Sandra Brown. She is a Jefferson County Commissioner for District 2 and President Pro Tem. She also served in the Birmingham City Council from 1997 to 2001 as representative for District 7. She's a businesswoman and the owner of JJ's T-shirts and Team World, that's a sports apparel company. And over the years, the Commissioner has received numerous honors for her community service. Also joining us tonight is Randall Woodfin. He's the new president of the Birmingham Board of Education and the assistant city attorney for the city of Birmingham. He's been a community activist and held a variety of positions working for the city and county, and he's worked on political campaigns from local to national. And he's also a graduate of Morehouse College in Atlanta and Samford University's School of Law. So welcome to our first three panelists, and thank you all again for being here. So we'll start tonight talking about how to get people involved in government. I want to direct this first question to Randall Woodfin. From the state takeover of the Birmingham City Schools to the Jefferson County bankruptcy, there have been many issues that have faced government over the past several years. And because of this, there are a lot of people who want to improve the community, but they just don't consider running for public office. How do you think that we can encourage talented people to get involved in politics and civil service?
Before I answer that question, let me start first by thanking WBHM and Rachel for actually inviting me to speak, as well as Mr. Petelos and Sandra Brown. I feel privileged to sit on this panel with you. I actually trust my life with this young lady right here. It's good to be here tonight. In regards to Rachel's question, I believe one of the ways to get young people involved is by example, which is why I offered myself up. And what we hope to do on the school board is through our action, how we interact with each other, how we interact with the superintendent, and how we present ourselves to the public. We can be that example. And from our example, what we would like, 2014 county commission races, state house representative races, judicial races, 2017 school board races, city council races. We would like to see more young people involved. But I think young people have been hesitant to be involved because of the way government has been running, the way elected officials have behaved themselves with their colleagues and how they've gone about, I guess, rendering services to the public. I don't think it's been the best example. And so using the school board as an example, we're hoping we can pivot from, I guess, conduct unbecoming as it relates to being an elected official.
Thank you. Moving on from that, the second question for Sandra Brown, kind of building on what he said, if people are interested in getting involved in politics, how can they overcome some of this cynicism that comes from Birmingham's history and some of the conduct unbecoming Randall was mentioning? How can we get, or why should rather, people think that they're running for office and being part of the political process can make a difference?
Thank you again, Rachel and Station, for inviting us. And my answer to that is leaders need to lead by example, honesty, trust. You have to build that trust. I think one of the problems we have and why young people are not interested, as much interested as they should be, is because being a leader in Jefferson County, been on the city council, been around, I don't see that mechanism of working together as a council person, working with the commission, working with the state. Everybody's running for office, and everybody's running for each other's office. So there's no trust there. And it should be about the people. What I see the problem is, it's not about Sandra, it's about the people that I represent. Empower the people. Issues, I can bring up an issue, and this is not just Democrat, it's Democrat and Republican. If I have a solution to an issue, I can't get it passed because somebody's just, say the word jealous, or, oh, she's gonna run for my seat next. We can't trust her. She's on the council. She's going to run for state legislator. She might even run for senator if she solves this problem. And that's a bad problem. The people are not empowered because of the trust we have. We don't have enough trust in each other's local government nor state. When the leaders can come together as elected officials and work together on solving problems, the problem for the people, not for you. You leave your personality at home or somewhere else. So I think the real problem is trusting each other.
Anna, now to bring Tony into the conversation. She mentions cooperation. From your experience as a mayor in Hoover and now the CEO of Jefferson County, what do you see as some of the big challenges to cooperation and collaboration, specifically in this region?
I think that when I was elected to the legislature many, many years ago, 1986, we had a divided community. Today, we still have a divided community here. My role as the county manager in the new form of government, I can say, is working. And what we have to do is, you look back at our history over the last 2 decades, you look back at the history of the problems that we've had, and you look back at the problems in Jefferson County and the issues that we've had. We've got to have people who we can trust. We have to have people elected to positions that will make hard decisions. And I can say that the 2 years that I've been involved with the Jefferson County Commission, that this commission, have they always agreed? No. Have I agreed with them always? No. But the one thing for sure, this commission has made tough decisions and they have made things happen in our community. Now what we need to do as a community, whether you live in Birmingham or whether you live in Hoover, it doesn't matter. The big picture is that we've got to support our region. And too much in the past, we have been looking at these issues that we try to put our arms around. Now, let me give you an example. The Dome Stadium in 1996 was a huge issue. There was a big divide on that issue. It failed. Public transportation in this community has been out there for decades, and it's a big issue. Those are issues that have to be solved in the legislature. Those are issues that the legislature has to work with us, but we have a divided legislature. We have for many, many decades, and apparently we have that today. So we need to find issues that we can work together on, small issues. Let's work as a team and build our community. Jefferson County, we just got word late this afternoon that it appears that we will be exiting bankruptcy in December. When that happens, the community leaders in our community can promote Jefferson County and work together as a team. Mobile does it, Montgomery does it, Huntsville does it, and they've done an excellent job. We've got to find issues that we can work together on. As Commissioner Brown said, is some of the petty things that we see. We just need to get away from that and find true leaders to elect in these public offices that can lead this community.
Oh, we're going to open it up now a bit for questions from anyone from the audience. We have Audrey Adkins out here, our marketing manager. So if you do have a question that you'd like to pose to the panel at any point, just raise your hand, flag her down, and Audrey has that on there as well. And while you're thinking on those, a question for the whole panel. We've been talking about getting people involved in politics, getting people to run for office that we can trust more. To the three of you, what is it that people should, what is a reasonable expectation that people can have of our elected leaders? How much can and how much should citizens be relying on the government and elected officials when it comes to improving the quality of life in communities?
This question's to all three of them.
Yeah.
I'll take a first stab, and Rachel will correct me if I'm not actually answering the question, but I had the chance, and unfortunately, Maxine Parker, we lost a true hero, Maxine Parker. Maxine Parker represents City of Birmingham, City Council District 4. And if there's ever an example of what it means to be a city council person, Maxine Parker represents that. This whole idea of her district having some serious issues as it relates to road access and transportation, as it relates to air quality and health issues, as it relates to poverty and other issues in her district. As a city council person, she found a way to leverage resources for the people she represented. I don't know how to actually answer that in a very tangible way, but to say if there was a leadership style to follow, to mimic, it would be Maxine Parker's style. Very calm, assertive style of leadership, not necessarily vocal, shine, look at me, city council, elected official, but more of, as an elected official, what can I do to not only advocate, but actually make a change and improve the quality of life of the people I represent? And Maxine Parker would be my answer.
Tony or Sandra, did you have anything you'd like to add to the question as well?
I agree with Mr. Woodfin. She surely was a soldier for what she believed in her district, and she worked hard to get that done. Not just a shining star. Her star was the people that she represented, and that's what it should be about. And about people living on the government, my dad always told me, I'm going to give you some food, but I want to teach you how to grow some food too. If they give me a fish all the time, then I don't learn how to fish. So when he's not around, I'm lost. So we still need to empower the people, stir up the worth in people. When I talk to people, just a little bit is not enough. Just want to grasp on for more knowledge, so that I can help myself and teach people how to help themselves. So, because you never know when the government is going to shut down. And you have to be able to depend on what you can do with your own abilities. And you should, just believe in yourself and have, that's why elected officials are people that people should believe in. And you have to be honest with people and work for the people. For the people, not for yourself.
Yes, if you could just state your name and where you're from.
My name is Jake Gregg, and I'm from Birmingham. And I was listening, and people were talking about unity and trust, and I was thinking about just that we're divided into a lot of different municipalities, and that makes it hard to be united. And even I remember when the city council, Birmingham City Council, was elected at large, and when they started being elected by districts, there was a lot of breakdown, even more disunity in Birmingham. So I just wanted to float that idea. I think the unity and trust is important, and maybe the structure that can help that happen would be for us to be thinking at large instead of in our small little districts.
I wonder how many little town mayors we got, and he was just talking like that. I tell you, we have a mayor's conference, and let me tell you, everybody likes their territory. You are correct. But when we can start thinking regional, then we can do a whole lot of things better for our communities and better for our county when we're in large numbers than each little faction, because everybody wants something different. And I totally agree with that. When we start reaching, when I came on the council back in 1997, there was a group called Region 2020, and it talks about region participation. And I think they're still around, but hopefully by 2020 we would have gotten there, because we have so many problems when cities can't survive. I represent two small cities, Lipscomb and Brighton, and they are poorer than poor. I mean, when I say poor, the streets, you wouldn't want to walk on, not even a bicycle. and they tear up cars. I mean, they are poor. No, Lipscomb does not even have adequate police protection right now. They only got like 2 police to police that town. So, and Brighton is not any better. Small cities can't survive now. And that's the way the economy is all over the United States of America. So I do believe in regional work and regional participation.
Rachel, if you allow me to also address
Sure, yes.
this comment. You know, there are pros and cons as it relates to district-wide, city council, and or at district or per district by district. The current model, I believe, can work. To answer, I guess, take part from Rachel's first question, I believe candidate recruitment is a major part of this whole idea of making the current system work. We have to find and recruit quality leadership. And it can be defined as people who understand this whole idea, not only serving leadership in this hand, but in this hand, believing in this idea that whether it's the city council dealing with the city of Birmingham, the city is only as strong as its poorest quality of life neighborhood. And so if that neighborhood is not in my district and I'm not as concerned, maybe that person shouldn't be on the city council. I see Valerie Abbott in the audience, and you know, maybe we should just clone her and have 8 other people like Valerie. But until then, when you look at 2017, maybe the conversation should be starting now. How do we find and recruit people who understand big picture? And it's the same for county commission. It's the same for our Jefferson County delegation who represent us in Montgomery.
Rachel, let me say this. Jefferson County has had a checkered past. To just be perfectly honest, we had 21 people who either pled guilty or went to prison. We had 6 commissioners. We had 8 employees. The rest of them were contractors. We had a dysfunctional government. It did not work. When I was at the city of Hoover, we had as mayor, we had things on automatic pilot. But I took a trust of faith when I came over to the commission. And why did I take this? Why did I make this move? I get asked this all the time, especially from folks from Hoover. It's because I'm a lifelong resident of Jefferson County. I believe in this commission. I believe that these commissioners were elected to solve a problem and to get us out of the problem that we have. The new form of government will give Jefferson County an opportunity to take the politics out of the day-to-day operations of county government. And that's what got us into trouble in Jefferson County. And by doing this, are we there? No, we still have a ways to go. But this commission has been, we have worked well together in forming this new form of government. The new form of government will give us the ability to promote our community. We had folks in last week and the week before coming and looking at Jefferson County to see, do I want to invest in this county? And when they came to see our county, they were amazed. They were surprised. They couldn't believe it. But there were certain aspects. We have so much to be proud of in our community. We always just beat up on each other over silly things and things that really don't make it significant. But we have a new form of government. We're exiting bankruptcy in Jefferson County, and I hope that, and I think that as far as the Mayor's Association, we have, for the first time, as far as the Mayor's Association, we have a good group of mayors and elected officials in that group that can work together. Will we ever have a centralized government? No, that's not going to happen. But there's a lot that we can do to work together with our communities, whether it's a very poor community or another community, to work together to promote our region for economic development and economic growth in this community.
How do you have
Yes, we have several questions, so we'll start back here.
Steve Calloway, I live here in the city of Birmingham. Would love to hear the panelists' thoughts along the lines of teaching people to grow their food and not just take the food. What can government do to empower people in our communities to be self-reliant and prosperous as opposed to dependent on government?
I'm going to make a quick answer. It's jobs, jobs, and jobs. To promote the region, to promote our community, to bring economic development here so we can have the jobs out there for our community leaders. And that's a simple answer, but that's a very viable point for our community. And the governor today was speaking at the luncheon today at D Club, and was talking about economic development statewide. But we need to do more here in Jefferson County in our region.
And economic development and transportation. We brought about 600 jobs to Lakeshore with the Dollar General, and transit, the public transportation doesn't even go near Dollar General. So there's a problem with transportation. So if each elected official were to come together and prioritize what we need to do, City Council, City of Birmingham, state legislatures, county commission, and when we had to file for bankruptcy, we had cities that filed resolutions they gave to the legislature telling them not to help us. And they live in Jefferson County. And it was just, to me, it was just like, what's wrong with these people? So we need to be able to come together as elected officials over all of the issues of transportation, the issues of economic development. So when we come together and solve those problems instead of fighting against each other, then we can make life better for the people. Because there is a solution to transportation. There's a solution to economic development, but when you have all elected officials, every faction going against each other, then we can't come to a solution like that.
Question?
My name is Jason Noah, and I live in Vestavia Hills. I grew up in Pleasant Grove, and it seems like for most of my life, people that lived in the suburbs pretty much said, wrote Birmingham off the city, and then wrote the county off, and pretty much said, we're going to develop our lives apart from what's going on in Birmingham, and apart from what's going on in the county. That's why we went to movie theaters in Hoover and not downtown. That's why we went to restaurants on 280 and not downtown. And now it seems as if there is a move of people who are my age, single, in our 30s, moving back downtown. And what's interesting is that what we're finding is that the people who live downtown have also created their lives apart from downtown. They've done exactly what the suburbs just did. They just didn't have the means to get out of the city limits to do it. And so, y'all talked a little bit about this, but how do you change? I mean, I'm 35 years old. How do you change 35 years of people basically doing their own thing in the suburbs? You said it's a legislative issue on transportation. That's true, but I think if Mountain Brook and Bessemer presented a united front to the legislature, they would listen a lot more than if it's just Bessemer.
A united front. You said a united front. Together we stand. If we stand together on the issues, if we had those cities working with the county commission and getting the real facts concerning occupational tax, if all of us are singing the same song, then they'll listen. But you got the city council singing something, you got every different city, not all of them, but Birmingham City Council passed a resolution asking the legislature not to help us, even with occupational tax. Same thing with Bessemer. There were a group of people going around to every city council meeting, and they were getting that support. The street gang was against us.
I want to take a stab at your question or comment as well, and I'm going to be a little frank and candid. So I hope I don't offend anybody when I say that I don't believe in Vestavia and Mountain Brook public transportation is a priority. I don't think it's not even on their radar as it relates to budget or anything of that nature. And using your analogy or your example of downtown, I'm a downtown resident of Birmingham. I've been a resident of downtown now since beginning of 2010. I have some very cool neighbors, all ages, races. They believe in their neighborhood, just like residents of Mountain Brook believe in Mountain Brook, just like residents of Vestavia believe in Vestavia. I see my neighbors walking and biking. I see my neighbors attending neighborhood meetings. addressing the same issues as anybody else of the 99 neighborhoods address issues. Your question was, how do you get somebody that's 35 years of age, such as yourself, to want to believe? You have to take the chance first. I can tell you, in using downtown, you won't be disappointed. And I do see the trend. If we read the news, if we read what's going on with Red Birmingham, BBA Blueprint, we see trending. Those who grew up in the suburbs go off to school, come back home, moving into downtown, moving into urban areas, city centers, not just in Birmingham, but everywhere. Part of what you're saying is also mindset. What mindset do suburbanites have of their nucleus, which is Birmingham? You all have to first change your mindset. In whatever neighborhood, whatever quality of life you want to be, it can be. It's easier when it's in majority and in numbers.
Do we, one over there, Andrew?
All right, if you'll tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is David Scher, and we publish a blog called comebacktown.com. Many of you may be aware of it. And we have the same conversations on the blog that we're having here today. And I want to kind of just come back and talk about this government structure thing again, because I think it's, when it comes down to it, that's usually where we're going to end out talking, because there's probably no conversation that we can have here today that doesn't relate to government structure. Jefferson County has 1.1 million people. 200,000 people or so live in Birmingham. So the city of Birmingham represents about 19% of our metropolitan area. I've always heard comments that if we had a great mayor here, we could do great things for our community. But our mayor doesn't represent our whole community. He only represents less than one out of every 5 people in our metropolitan area. Then you have the county commission that's made up of 5 county commissioners from 5 separate districts. There's not one single elected county official who represents the county. Tony is the CEO, and it's certainly an improvement on what we've done here, but he's not elected by the people from the county. There's 35, 36, 37 municipalities in Jefferson County, and then we have lack of home rule because of our state constitution, which means that we really can't even hold our county commission responsible, because a lot of the problems that we have were created by the legislature. And there's whatever issue you want to talk about, whether it's lack of transportation. I mean, public transportation is provided for or helped in every state except 4. We just happen to be one of those 4. And in our state constitution, it says specifically we cannot use public transportation. I can't use dollars of tax monies for public transportation. So we need to take some kind of steps in the direction. We may never have a perfectly consolidated government. We need to take a step in trying to look at some of those issues if we're ever going to make any progress here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have something I'd like to add. David, did you go on the big trip to Denver? In Denver, in the city of Denver, it was really unique because they had a situation similar to here. They had the big city and then the suburbs. Well, they were able to work with the local government, and they put together a unified front with their legislature. They worked together as you had the city of Denver, and then you had the suburbs, and it worked. And that's the direction that we need to go in our community here.
And I think we have time for one more question, in this panel section.
If you'll tell us your name and where you're from.
Yes, my name is Martez Files, and I'm from Bright City. I just wanted to address the panel on the youth becoming involved in public office. I don't think it's that the youth does not want to become involved in public office. What I think the youth does not appreciate is like the bureaucracy and how slow public office is. I believe, being young myself, I'm only 23. I know that the youth, we like to move a little faster. We like to get things done a little faster. So the bureaucracy and the paperwork and the constant, incessant meetings is not what we do as young people. I wonder if the panel has any solutions for that part of public office that we don't appreciate.
He wants the rapid rail, huh? And we don't have good buses right now. But it's a process. We want those things. Again, it comes to unity and your leaders working together on those issues that affect our lives, such as transportation. Senator Shelby, bless his soul, he put some money in place. I think it was like 1997. $80 million for public transportation. And you know why we didn't get the money and use it? Because these areas, the city of Bessemer, the city of Birmingham, Vestavia, Hoover, the legislature, nobody could come together and utilize that money. It was just a big fuss. And is it still there, Joe?
I think it went away.
It went to other governments because Jefferson County could not come together as elected officials in one body and speak the same language and put together those monies to help that match to fund public transportation. Just like someone spoke about the dome, a lot of things have passed us by because your elected officials have not been unified.
We're just now about out of time for this panel. If we could just wrap up real quick. We've been talking a lot about issues with trying to bring people together and work more collaboratively across the different areas in Birmingham and the suburbs outside. Maybe real quick, you could each just say one thing that you think would need to change in order for that to happen. I know that's a big question, but a top of something that comes to mind before we close out this section of the panel.
I'm going to start off with saying that it's already occurred in Jefferson County. Mm-hmm. We had a dysfunctional government that did not work. The county manager form of government is working. I'm not saying it because I'm there. There's checks and balances, and it works well. And that is going to be the catalyst for growth in our community. And now with the news that it appears we're going to be out of bankruptcy next month, and it gives us an opportunity with a new form of government in Jefferson County. And I can say it's been a pleasure for me for the last 2 years working with our commissioners in Jefferson County.
More of these type forums, not only downtown, in the communities, in the church, diverse group of people coming to the Baptist church, Catholic church, and we all get together and, have your legislature here, your council people here, your commissioners here, put everybody and hold us accountable, ask us these questions. I think we all basically singing the same song, but you need to hold your leaders accountable, hold them responsible, have these communities, a diverse group, Catholic, Protestant, business people, homemakers, everybody, put them together and have more of these all over Jefferson County. All over Jefferson County, monthly, is needed, and just bring us to the forefront and ask these hard questions.
To Rachel's question, I believe a realistic, tangible plan could bring these different facets together. And what I mean by a tangible plan, pick an issue. Legislators of Jefferson County, Commission, our mayors, all the way down to our neighborhood presidents, business community, our churches, our nonprofits. Everybody in this county decide we're going to pick one issue that affects all of us. We solve it. I believe that could bring everybody together.
Well, thank you all for participating. We've heard from Tony Petelos, Sandra Brown, and Randall Woodfin. We're going to take a brief break now, about 5 minutes. You can go outside, grab tacos, and then we'll have the next